Okay, it's time for us to start our study. And let's start with a quick prayer. Just asking for the presence of the benefactors. They may be inspiring us, so we ask their help for us to perceive this inspiration, to be enveloped in the good they bring to us, so that the teachings that we receive may benefit not only we, but those in spirit who join us in this study. So we start our meeting with their permission. So be it. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone again. So I'll share my screen with the book and we can start. Can you all see the book?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Last week we had finished studying the message from Erastus and Timothy about the affinity of the spirits and the medium, the knowledge that the medium brings, being aware or not of that. So we finished reading the message, and then let's end this chapter here with the comments by Kardec. This analysis of the role of mediums and the process through which they communicate is both clear and logical. From it, we may derive the principle that a spirit does not utilize the ideas of the medium, but rather the necessary materials present in the medium's mind for expressing its own thoughts, and that the richer the mind, the easier the communication becomes. When a spirit expresses itself in a language familiar to the medium, it finds the words already formed and ready for the translation of its ideas. If it communicates in a foreign language, it does not have words at its disposal, but only letters. It is then that the spirit is obliged to dictate letter by letter, exactly as if we wanted to make a person who did not know even a word of it to write in German. If the medium did not know how to read or write, not even letters would be at the spirit's disposal. Then the spirit must guide the hand as one would do with a child. In such a case, there is a material difficulty that is even harder to overcome. These phenomena are possible, and we have numerous examples of them. However, it should be understood that this manner of proceeding does not lend itself to lengthy and rapid communications, for which the spirits must prefer the easiest instruments possible, or, as they themselves have said, well-equipped mediums from their point of view. If those who request such phenomena in order to be convinced had attempted to study the theory first, they would know about the special conditions under which they are produced. I think, this is the grand finale of this chapter, and I think Kardec summarizes, the importance of, what the medium brings with him or her, and bearing in mind, of course, that it's not from this incarnation, but from the previous ones. So the communication is not something as simple and, requires only that the spirit wishes to communicate with this or that particular medium. No, it requires a lot of affinity, as it were. in terms of the knowledge that the spirit wants to bring, the knowledge that the medium already has, the language that the medium speaks, and so on. So there are so many important elements in that. And that's why, I've heard so many times, it's important that the medium keeps on studying. Not only the doctrine, of course, the doctrine first when it comes to mediumship, but also the knowledge that the medium brings with him or her will help dress the ideas that the spirits will bring to us. Can you imagine, just to make an exercise, can you imagine if we could go back 100 years ago and talk to someone, 150 years, of the words and ideas that we express to them, how many would be considered, nonsense by them? They wouldn't understand. We use words and ideas on a daily basis, and we can be perfectly understood by all of you. But going back to a different, time, to different context, people wouldn't understand perhaps half of what we say. Oh, I send you a message. Oh, don't know, so many things in our language and ways of communicating, and they wouldn't understand. They wouldn't understand the ideas. So just to quickly understand the importance of what the medium brings with him or her, as it's been said, not the ideas of the medium, but the knowledge of the medium. So it becomes an easier process. Okay, is it clear?
Yeah.
Very good. So with that, we end this chapter, which is chapter 19, about the influence of the mediums in the communication. And now we are going to talk about the medium's moral influence. So we are not talking about the intellectual, as it were, influence of the medium, but now the medium's moral influence. What, aspects should be considered when studying mediumship in terms of a moral influence? So various questions here. 226. 1. Does the development of mediumship have any relation to the medium's moral development? And the answer from the spirit, no. The faculty per se is organic and therefore independent of morality. It's organic, full stop. It's something that is related to the body. It's like saying, okay, I have, a very bad binoculars. What can I see with that? Well, what the instrument will allow you to see. I have a very good one with night vision, infrared vision, whatever. What can I see with that? The same person may use this different instrument. So it is the instrument that will allow the person to see or not certain things. And the faculty, just the faculty, is like that. What can I see in the spirit world? What your organic conditions will allow you to see through the specific organs, through the specific glands, you'll be able to see into the spirit world. What do you do with that? What you see then is something else. What Kardec is saying here, or the spirits are saying here, is that the faculty independence of the moral condition of the medium. It's just an instrument. And just like any instrument is neutral. You can see, I can see with the same binoculars, for instance. You people will have the same capabilities that I will have with those, binoculars. So, but what am I going to see? What I'm interested in? What will I understand from what I'm saying? And this, of course, is individual. Hi, Liz.
I just, good morning, everybody. It just kind of brought into my head some sort of things I used to hear in me when I was a child, like my mom saying that there was something that was passed to her, and then at some point could be passed to one of us, our children, their children, my mom and dad's, and and also like thinking of people saying, "Oh yes, maybe you have this gift because your father is like this or your mother is like that." So it's kind of, I don't know. We may have this idea innate in us that it could be because of it is in a family, isn't it? Hereditary. It just remind me of that.
Yeah. If the faculty is organic, so it is subject to organic laws. Same thing as our blue eyes or whatever, I have in the family. So I may have it, I may not. I'm subject to the laws of genetics. If I'm going to have or not, of course, it depends very much, of my uh, um, program, as it were. You know, why do some people develop cancer in the family and some people don't? It's in their genes, the probability of developing it, but some will never develop a thing. Others will develop, one when they manage to handle one, perhaps they'll have another one. So whatever is organic is subject to organic laws. And the organic laws, of course, they are influenced by, what we come here to do.
I guess
I
it
mean,
would
here in the
also
physical world. Sorry?
influentiate, it could also influentiate, like as we see, like obviously some cases of mediums to be part of the reincarnation plan. For
Yeah.
example, let's say, Divaldo, he had it so flourished since he was a little boy, and perhaps it was part of the plan for him, and then he kind of
Yeah.
you were born in that specific place with all the instruments that you have to have for that experience, isn't it?
Yeah. Just carry on with question 226, item 1. However, the same does not apply concerning its use, which can be good or bad according to the medium's character. As I said before, each one of us receives the same binoculars. What are you going to do with that? What are you going to see? Or whatever, any instruments, it's neutral. It's what we do that depends on our moral development. Okay. Oh, I want to watch my neighbors. I want to see in detail what they are doing. And some people may say, no, no, this is, my morals don't allow that. Don't allow me to do that. I think, it's still, I can't do that. Yes, I can, but I will not do it. I'll look for birds on the trees. There is a park not too far from here. I can see the birds on the trees with my binoculars. Oh, I want to peep into my neighbor's, or the neighboring flat or whatever, or, passes by or whatever. So whatever we do, it depends on our moral. The instruments, are the same for everyone. 2, it has always been said that mediumship is a gift from God, a grace, a divine favor. Then why isn't it a privilege of moral individuals only? And why are there unworthy persons who are endowed with it to the highest degree, but who use it badly? And the answer, all our faculties are favors from which we should thank God, for there are some persons who do not possess them. You could just as well ask why God has given good eyesight to criminals, dexterity to thieves, or eloquent eloquence to those who only use it for evil. The same applies to mediumship. Unworthy individuals have been endowed with it because they need it more than others in order to better themselves. Do you think that God refuses the means of salvation to the guilty? Instead, he multiplies such means at every step by placing them right, right in their hands. It is their responsibility to take advantage of them, however. Didn't the traitor Judas perform wonders and cure diseases as a disciple? God provided him with this gift so that he might afterwards see more clearly the odiousness of his betrayal. I think it's clear here. I think it also takes away the idea of punishment. Oh, I did something wrong. God will take away everything that I have and much more. No, on the contrary, he's always putting next to us the means for us to reconciliate, as it were, with him. Go back to the right path, to make the necessary changes, and also to understand the dimensions of what we did, or perhaps is still doing. And this is the beauty of things. Many of us all the time I say, oh, I'm being punished now because I probably did this in the past, I did that in the past. We should do differently. Look at what we have and say, God is giving me an opportunity because I have a beautiful family. Perhaps I failed in the past. In my views, I don't deserve to have this beautiful family, but yet I'm surrounded by angels, as it were. And so many things that we say, oh, so we should value and thank for the opportunity. So mediumship is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for those who are good and for those who are not. If I'm good, I make good use, I'll help people, I'll bring enlightenment to the world through my mediumship. If I'm not, perhaps it's exactly what I need to start to see things in a different way. Perhaps I will start in the wrong way, making the wrong use of it, until the day I realize, wow, I had all these in my hands, and look what I did. So, we start to ask for forgiveness. We start to, make the necessary changes, and of course the amendments with that. And then we understand. Otherwise, it would be very easy for those who are still evil to say, oh, God is always favoring this group because they are good, because they worship God. So they are the, loved ones. So they are. And look at us, we have been abandoned here. God's, forsake us, and we are left here abandoned and so on. So this is a proof that no, there isn't such a thing. And it also reminds me of the passage of the prodigal son. Why was the prodigal son received with such a great joy? If he was the one who left the house, who abandoned his father, who wasted the money he'd received from his father, and yet his father welcomed him. And you see, and we also have to think of the brother who got jealous, saying, "Oh, I'm always here." We are always looking at the neighbor's yard to see why the lawn is greener there than this sort of thing. Both are wrong in this sense. One, because abandoned the father's house, the work and everything he was supposed to do, and the other because he did, but he thought he deserved more, so he wasn't being grateful for what he had, but he was actually concerned with the things he didn't have yet. He said, I wanted a party, invite my friends, and you never allowed me, but look. So we see that the instruments are always there. Mediumship is part of these instruments. 3. We mediums who put their faculties to bad use, who do not utilize them for the good, and who do not make advantage of them for their own education, suffer the consequences. If they put them to bad use, they will be doubly punished, since they will have lost the opportunity to profit from a way of enlightening themselves. A person who sees clearly and stumbles anyway anyway is more culpable than someone who is blind and falls into the ditch. Yes, I mean, we have always we have to, you know, to give account for what we had, what we did with what we had, the parable of the talents. Let's never forget, we were given to use it, to multiply it, and one day we'll be called, upon to tell what we did with the talents that we received. Mediumship is the same. And we ask for, a way of improving ourselves, enlightening ourselves, and we make use. We are more culpable than someone who receives it, is not totally aware. And perhaps one day when it's enlightened about the faculty and what can be done with that person will change. Whereas the one who was aware since day one didn't change at all and carried on making bad use of that. That reminds me of a story. I can't remember in which spiritist book I read this about this guy. I think it's in one book, stories told by Chico Xavier, something like that. This guy, he was in the spiritual world. He realized, how many things he had to change, how many amendments he had to make. So he was praying and asked God that in his incarnation, he would be born without eyesight, with problems in legs and arms, and all sorts of problems. He was asking for that. And then the guardian angel came and told him, well, that is too much for you. You can go and start your enlightenment now, but you have only one thing. You'll be born, normal, perfect, but you will be born with a faculty, mediumship. And through mediumship, you'll be able to pay your debts, inverted commas, or, put things into the right place, start your process of enlightenment and so on. And he accepted that. And then when he came to a physical world, he was a medium, he was working. And after a while, he realized he was tired of helping people through his mediumship, because people were all the time going to his house and coming with their problems and so on. And one day there was a woman with a young girl, and the young girl was obsessed, and they needed him in the Spiritist Center to help in that situation. So he basically sent them away. He said he, wouldn't work with mediumship anymore, and so on and so forth. So when he returned to spirit, he realized he had failed. They'd given a task that was the easiest. He asked for all sorts of deformities in his body. He didn't get any. On the contrary, he got a wonderful instrument for his process of change. And he made bad use of that. When people needed him, he just sent them away, actually despising them, cursing them almost, because they were needy people who came looking for him so that they could, get his help through his mediumship. So we see clearly that we do that. We ask for things when we get here, and are faced with what we asked, perhaps even less than we asked, in the sense that we asked to come with both problems in both arms, and we had just a minor thing in one of the arms, and we complain, throughout the entire life, because we are born like this, because we had to face that. And so this, is part of us, the level that we are. We think we can, do much more. We are given a smaller task, and yet we complain a lot. And, mediumship is like that. So many people, they complain that they have mediumship. I don't want this faculty. Oh no, I don't want to make good use of this faculty, or I want to use it in this way or that way. That is not, what uh, the mediumship, came for. 4, there are mediums who quite often receive spontaneous communications that are about the same subject, addressing certain moral questions, for example, related to certain defects. Is there some purpose for this? Yes, and the purpose is to enlighten them concerning a constantly repeated subject, or to correct them of certain defects. This is why spirits always speak to some about pride and others about charity. For only persistence will finally succeed in opening their eyes. There are no mediums who misuse their faculty out of ambition or self-interest, or who disgrace it with some essential defect, such as selfishness, pride, or frivolousness, who do not time and again receive warnings from spirits. Most of the time, unfortunately, they do not apply such warnings to themselves. This is really important. We think that the messages we come in contact with, be it through our mediumship, through the mediumship of a colleague, books. Sometimes we have something in our mind and we come across a text, a message, or whatever, a TV program, whatever, calling our attention to something related to what is in our mind, and we neglect that. We say, oh, no, this is rubbish, this is that. We pay too much attention to what we have in mind and don't take into consideration these warnings. And the spirits are adamant here in saying that those who misuse their faculty, those who have too much selfishness, pride, frivolousness involved in their faculty or with their faculty, they receive a lot of warnings before. But the message is always for other people. The problems are always with other people. We think we are in control of the situation all the time. And well, they clearly say here that, they are here to help us, provided we make good use of the help we receive from them. Spirits nearly always give their lessons in a reserved, indirect way in order to allow for greater merit to those who know how to apply or take advantage of them. They hint, they put, in small writing there, because if we manage to take into consideration and change something in us due to that, subtle warning that we received, the merit is ours. So if someone hints something at us and say, well, what do you think? Wouldn't it be better for you to do this way? Or I know someone who, solved this problem doing this or doing that. And yes, I was, meditating on it. And yes, I think I will do this because it seems to be the right way to do things. The merit is ours. But if someone imposes on us and say, you have to do it this way, otherwise, so we have less merit because it's an imposition, or, it's something that scares us. And out of this, we decide to go that way. We are not convinced that the first opportunity we'll, move back to where we were, but still, we feel obliged to do things in that particular way, out of fear, out of whatever. That's why they are subtle. And Good spirits will never impose something on us. They always find ways to warn us in very concealed, very a quiet way, as they say here, reserved, indirect ways, uh, because it's then our merit when we say, yes, I chose that path. You gave me some ideas, but I chose, and not, oh, I was forced to go that way. However, some persons are so blind and proud that they do not recognize themselves in the picture they have right in front of them. Furthermore, if a spirit gives them to understand that they themselves are the subject of the lesson, they become angry and call the spirit a liar or a joker, enough to prove that the spirit is correct. It reminds me of stubborn teenagers when the mother or the father points something out, when they, jump angry and, oh, no, you are wrong. You know that you're right. You know that, oh, I suspect that was exactly what happened. And they, no, 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 no. You know that, yes, it was exactly that, what happened. So, we have that in us. And you see, we can even call good spirit a liar or a joker, because we don't accept, we don't take what they are telling us. And that's why, again, Jesus said to be humble. Because when we are humble, we are not there to accept everything that is brought to us, but to be humble is to take into consideration. Whenever I just refuse without even giving a thought on something that someone tells us or a spirit tells us through a message or whatever, we are using our pride as a shield, because we filter what we want to take. If it's acceptable by our pride, if it's not, we reject without even considering that. And when we are humble, that means we'll take whatever is there, and we'll analyze, taking ourselves even away from us. When it's been said for us to forgive yourself, forget yourself. Forget yourself. So take yourself out of your, shields, pride, of selfishness, or whatever, and just try to see things in a different way. This is already, a first step. But some people completely reject, as has been said here, any message that actually invites them for a change in this or that aspect. Okay, no questions? Everyone's so quiet. Any comments so far, Charles?
Yeah, yes, the comment I can made is that all these statements and these questions and answers are crystal clear, isn't it?
Yes. So let's move on then. 5. When they receive general lessons with no personal application, don't mediums act as passive instruments to serve for the instruction of others? Almost always such warnings and advice are not directed towards them, but others whom we can only reach through their mediumship. Nonetheless, mediums should try to profit from them themselves, unless they are blinded with vanity. And then Kardec comments. Don't think that mediumship is given only to correct one or two individuals. Rather, the objective is greater. It is meant for all humankind. As individuals, mediums are very unimportant instruments. Thus, when we provide instructions of general interest, we utilize mediums who offers us the required abilities. But you can be very sure that the time will come when good mediums will be quite common and good spirits will no longer have to use faulty instruments.
Munir?
Yeah?
Yes, just a small remark in the French original. It's not a
Yeah.
Kardec comment, it's a
Yes, I
continuation
realized
of the
by the
answer of the
language.
spirit. Huh?
Sorry, yes, I realized by the text that it wasn't Kardec comment. And
No.
so whose comment is this, Charles?
I think the name of the spirit does not appear in this section, huh? But
Okay.
it's probably Erastus as well, or maybe the
Yes,
two who are kind
Erastus
above. But
Timothy.
this part is not a comment of Kardec, it's just a continuation of the answer.
Oh, I see. So the typeset is the same size and everything.
It should be bigger letter, yes.
Okay, yes, because in Portuguese, the small ones are usually Kardec's comments, but
Yeah,
you
but
know,
it's wrongly done. I will check the original and confirm.
okay. Yes, because you see, yeah, the language doesn't seem to be, the way of expressing the words used seems to be from a spirit and not from Kardec. We use, and okay, thanks, Chance.
You're welcome.
This makes the difference, yeah. 6. If a medium's moral qualities repel less evolved spirits, why do mediums gifted with good qualities transmit erroneous or even crass responses? Do you know all the secrets of their soul? Besides, without being nasty, they can be irresponsible and frivolous instead, and they could also be in need of a lesson in order to warn them. When we see the outside of someone, we don't see the inside. And sometimes we are going through a nice phase, but sometimes, we open that secret door that we all have, where we put everything we don't want, or we've been putting, cramming that little room with old things. It's all there, and we lock the door, but one day we have to open that, and what we find there is not that nice. So we all have this. So we don't know, what is inside everyone. But as they say, pride, vanity, selfishness should not prevent anyone from learning from any lesson. As they say, the message may be directed to this or that person, but everyone can profit from that, because we are not too different from one another. Some of us have advanced more here, some of us have advanced more there, some of us have been able to, read ourselves from certain vices, some others, other types of vices, but we are all more or less at the same level in general, not, all, but most of us. So, in this case, the lessons are for all of us. Oh, this is a message for you. It has nothing to do with me. If it came through me, or if I, got in contact with a message, it, certainly suits me as well. Hi, Elsalie.
Hey, hi, good morning. I would like to know if you have limit or mediums know that, or and when a medium is not so a good form the day, because have also bad notes, so something, and that day so to a mediumship is a meeting. This if I know, I would like, but I feel not so good. I maybe it's not the same in this question here, but I think the need is I'd like to know, is a problem if you know your responsibility, you know that what you must to do, what you will to do, but you know what, oh, I don't feel so good today. What I'd like to know, it's this medium works or doesn't work day. I don't know if you understood,
Celine,
Munir.
yeah, unless it's something that prevents you from working, like you're ill in bed, or you have a contagious disease, or you have something that, if we are not feeling well, oh, today I'm a bit down, I'm this and that, it's up to the benefactors to use you or not. If you go there and say, here I am, this is my condition, you know, if it is for me to do the work that I usually do, fine, I'm here.
Okay.
It's up to them to, decide,
Mm-hmm.
and to take to the boss. Take your problem to the boss. At
And
least
then
you're showing
also,
goodwill, because we have days that we are not well. We
Ah,
have days that we are over the moon, but days that we are feeling the weight of the world on our shoulders. And so are we going to, allow ourselves to be driven by, these? We know it will pass. This will
yes, I
also
must
go,
say, yeah, I understood. Yes, I understood it very good because I appreciate your answer because we live here in the in the earth, the hair living, and maybe you must go to the doctor, and the doctor say, maybe we must do something also, also. Then when she said, oh wow, I mean, it's something to think, no, I have a fear, and I bet I know what it will be after good. And but I am not a depression. No, I don't have that. I think so. I hope, but because I know always tomorrow some come and so not. But I only think about it because I don't want to be some say here a bad instrument. So then I don't want, but I want to do what I like to do, and I like to be. And I pray in the morning today after evangel, gospel home. I said, oh, good, my God, I would like it to always, or I like it to be instrumental to my brothers. They have much more than me, and they are on another side, and they depend of a middle. I would like today. No, I don't want to do today. No, it's not good. This I think is not good, but it's not my case. I would like to know because I to be clear here in my natural. I would like to be here today. I would like.
Yes, this is an important thing. If we are, accept mediumship as an instrument, and we want to put this instrument, for the work of good, we have to be an instrument, not the ones deciding when we are in conditions to help, when we are not in conditions to help. As I said before, if it's not something that really prevents us from going here or going there, or we have to accept that there are days that, oh, well, I've got these, don't know, flu or wherever, and I'm in bed, I'm taking antibiotics.
It's another, yes.
Yes, if there's nothing
okay.
that prevents us, we go and present ourselves as instruments. Here I am. If today I'm not going to be the pilot, but the co-pilot, fine, fine.
Yes, understood.
So this is the thing. We should accept that being an instrument is not when we want to help, the way we want to help, who we want to help, but we are there to help everyone. Otherwise, we become like this chap that, you know, he decided he didn't want to be bothered by the needs of other people, and he decided that, you know, he would keep his mediumship to himself and, you know, forget the ones who need. No, because we are an instrument, and not just with mediumship, with many things in life, you know, if they come to us. Yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
many times we say, well, but I had to work so hard to get there in that position, to acquire this knowledge, to acquire this ability or whatever. But we were allowed the conditions to get there. We were given the conditions to get there. You know, we were helped to get there, to prove that we can be good instruments. Running a country, a small group, being a medium. So, you know, as spirits, as immortal spirits in the process of evolution, every opportunity is an opportunity for us to grow. Oh no, I'll forget, you know, that I'm, you know, an immortal spirit progress, because now I am the CEO of this company. I'll do whatever I want. Everyone is here to serve me. And, you know, so, you know, if we are instruments, we have more responsibilities. The responsibility of being a good instrument. And I think the moral influence of the medium in regarding mediumship is exactly, you know, along these lines. You know, how do you present yourself as an instrument? And of course, if we struggle to be a good instrument, we'll be assisted by good spirits. But if we want to, you know, just let it go with the flow, of course, good spirits will say, well, let's try to send him or her some warnings, you know, otherwise we won't be able to use him or her. Not as much as we would like, not as much as he or she will benefit in spiritual terms. And then who will use this faculty? Or what, you know, this faculty will put us in contact with? The good ones? No, we are basically rejecting their presence when we decide to, you know, do things that won't help us in any way. But then we always find someone who will help us in our intentions. If they are good, good ones. If they are not, not so good ones. Those who think alike, you know. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Munir. It was fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your question, Celine. Okay. We have time. Yes, we can do one more question here. 7. Why do highly evolved spirits allow persons who are gifted with great mediumship abilities and who could do a great deal of good to become instruments of error? Such spirits try to influence them, but when these individuals allow themselves to be drawn onto a path of error, they do not stop them. That is why they use them so reluctantly, for the truth cannot be interpreted with a lie. Clear, crystal clear. We see that, again, as instruments, if we want to drink a nice, fresh, you know, glass of water, the glass has to be clean. Otherwise, whatever is there, we may put the best water in the world, fresh, nice, so the glass will contaminate the water. So that's why it's important to, you know, keep ourselves, as I said, as a good instrument. There's no, you know, secret in doing that, no magic, no nothing. It's just trying to be better today than we were yesterday, and tomorrow than we are today. I mean, this is the rest. We have to work hard. Yes, we have to work hard. That's how it is. But if we are constantly, you know, making the effort, even when we look back and say, well, you know, I haven't managed to change so much or as much as I expected, but I made some change. Fine, that was your best. Fine, you know, that is your best. You know, I can run 1 mile. Oh, I can run, 10 miles. But then tomorrow, I run 1 mile and a little bit, 10% more. And the other guy, 10 miles, but 5% more. Who was the one with the greatest improvement? When you look at the distance, the other one who was used to running 10 miles managed to run much more than the other guy. But the amount or the achievement that, that first guy who wasn't used to running for, such a long distance, relatively, that was much more than the other guy, So it's the amount of effort that we put to transform who we are today into someone better tomorrow. Not is the transformation in itself, but the effort we make to transform ourselves, to become better. Hi, Guilherme.
Hi, Munir. Hi, everyone.
Good to
Sorry
see you.
to be late.
No problem. Okay. Oh, I think we have time for one more, number 8. Charles, is this bit in here, this writing small letters here, in your version?
Yes. This one is correct, yes.
It's
The
kind of
previous
good.
one, not.
Okay. 8. Is it completely impossible to receive good communications through an imperfect medium? Imperfect mediums can sometimes obtain good communications since, if they have a good faculty, good spirits can use them in the absence of better ones in special circumstances. They do not only temporarily, however, they do so only temporarily, however, because when they find others who would serve them better, they prefer them. Well, the instrument is good. It's not managed in the most adequate way, but if there's nothing better, that instrument will be used. But, until the a better handler of the instrument comes. And then the comments. We should point out that when good spirits see that certain mediums cease to be good instruments, and due to their imperfections, start to become prey to the deceptive spirits, they nearly always bring about circumstances that reveal their defects, and they keep them away from serious, well-intentioned persons whose good faith might be abused by them. In such cases, whatever their faculties may be, there is nothing to be sorry about. Again, I think Kardec is very, very clear. At all times, we are basically creating the environment around us who will attract good spirits or will keep the good spirits working with us or not. It very much depends on what we do with the faculty and how we use it and how we prepare ourselves for the use of our faculty. And we see that good spirits, they don't simply abandon us. They give us warnings, as we've seen before. They also create circumstances around us, not only to help us, but also to prevent us from causing damage to other people, especially the well-intentioned ones, to avoid a situation. But the final decision is always ours in terms of, who we want working with us. It's always ours. They will help us see, they will create situations around us to open our eyes. But as it's been said before also, always, in a subtle way, without going against our free will. Our free will for them is so valuable that they won't go against our free will. Because in the end, if we are forced to do something, because they impose on us, There's no merit in there. There's no growth. We are just, obeying orders. And as soon as we see ourselves free from them, we will perhaps go back to an even worse path instead of, carrying on in the path that, they imposed on us, as it were. Okay? I think we stop here. We have 3 minutes left. Let's do a closing prayer. Would you like to do a closing prayer, Charles, please?
Sure.
Thanks.
So let's elevate again our thoughts to our Almighty Father and to all these benefactors and good spirits He sends us in order to help us, to give us the instructions and the teachings, to make us understand better these laws of nature, so that we can work on ourselves, do this moral reform, work to get every day a little bit better, as Munir just said, to become more in harmony with the natural law, and so to go up in the progression scale towards happiness. We are immensely grateful for the opportunity we had today to study, in particular, this section of moral influence of the medium. May we understand well these teachings, write them in our hearts, put them in practice. And let's also wish that these lessons have been useful for the good spirits who were with us in this study today. So be it.
So be it.
Thanks, Charles. Yeah,
I
thank
wish
you,
everyone a Merry Christmas. It's time of the year.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Guilherme.
Coming closer now.
Oh, Merry Christmas. Yeah.
All the best.
Okay, happy Christmas,
Thank
everyone.
you. Happy
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.